Well, only yesterday I was out in Ukambani for reasons that a lot of you must have known. Thank you so much for those who empathized with us because of the family situation we were facing. But when I was coming, I saw that in Kakamega there's a very important meeting, a democratically organized rally of a kind that has not been recently seen in that part of the country. Mainly the young people again carrying our national flags, and we celebrate the spirit. Kabla niingie hapo niseme kwamba PCA, you are really a wonderful congregation. I am not a member of PCA. Actually, I got baptized in AIC Church in Kitui. I think that's where Senator Wambua and others come from. But I was, during my days at the university, I used to lead the university at St. Andrew's Church. And my spiritual mentor was Reverend Wanjao, George Wanjao. Huyu mzee alinisaidia sana, not just me alone, but the entire community of the University of Nairobi. St. Andrews stands very tall and very well regarded. Of course, sometimes unavalia ile kilt, the Scottish kilt. I used to see that and enjoy it. Now, this is interesting. But now looking at this sanctuary, we say glory to God. You have even gone back in history to biblical times. When I see the Jerusalem stone, then I know your architects are truly, truly magnificent. The Jerusalem stone in Utawala, may God continue to do his marvelous works. And so, just taking it over from where my colleagues have left it, I watched a very senior leader in this country, Jim Orengo, senior counsel, a person I respect. We have been to the trenches together. He's in a position to know, just like I think I am. Kenyans have a lot of unanswered questions about how our late brother Raila Amolo Odinga left us. They have a lot of questions. And so Jim was very categorical. Alisema Raila aliuawa. In order to deal with that lingering issue, na tukiwa mbele ya congregation hii and before the presence of God himself, I would want to suggest pawe na thorough inquest so that Kenyans can know the truth. I can tell you that people are fighting for the soul of our late brother Raila Odinga. I was privileged to work with them very closely. Very, very closely. And I may have to write a book like Senator Malala has written a play. Malala likes to write plays, but I think I'll write a book. Because we'll have to place on record for future generations so that Kenyans will live freely in a democratic country, as envisioned under Article, I think, 1 or 2, multi-party democracy, Constitution 2010, na urithi wa kamili ambao alituachia mzee Kibaki. That is not privileged to serve under him. He allowed people to work. Kibaki never taught us to steal.
Now you see Kalonzo's statement in church, as they are first starting of course with the inquest of the death of Raila Amolo Odinga, which almost everyone took as a natural occurrence, but now a lot of doubts are being imputed around it, including even by the very close friend of Raila Amolo Odinga, Governor James Orengo of Siaya, saying that it seems that Raila did not die a natural death. And so Kalonzo says that as long as there is doubt about the death of Raila Amolo Odinga, then it calls for necessary inquest to come out or figure out the real cause of death for Raila Amolo Odinga. Now while this is happening, he is drawing a a correlation with Jim Orengo, saying that they have been in the trenches for quite some time, and that is a political statement that is not just being thrown out carelessly. It shows a connection that they enjoy with Jim Orengo going back. Now, you see, this statement is coming at a time that Orengo himself, not once, not twice, including even in meetings in Siaya, said that they are better off with the Kalonzo cohort, and also recalled the friendship between Kalonzo and Raila prior to his death compared to the President William Ruto's camp. Now, if this is the first time that you are interacting with our channel, The People's Mirror, then please hit the subscribe button. That way stories like this do not escape you, but it also helps in growth of our channel so that we can bring for you more stories like this. Right now, if you take a look at our channel's page, we are at around 4,170 subscribers, and so if you hit that particular subscribe button, then the numbers increase and our target of 5,000 starts to come down. We have noticed that over 41% until now still interact with our channel, then forget to hit that subscribe button. So please don't forget in this particular episode. Now, this statement is coming at a time that the rally in Kakamega was held, and this Wiper Democratic leader confirms that, of course, the rally that was witnessed in Kakamega was one of its kind in that particular region is not accidental. It's a wooing of that particular cohort to come in so that they form the team that will face President William Ruto in 2027. Now, where the Linda Mwananchi cohort sits right now advantages the united opposition more than it gives advantage to the president, because a cohort and a joint force of the Linda Mwananchi and the united opposition will of course give President William Ruto headache ahead of the 2027 re-election that he's seeking. Now, to that end, you see he's calling for collaboration, and other colleagues also in the same church called for collaboration, a story that we will detail in another episode. Now, at this point, I just want to take us back to what did Orengo say in Kakamega that gave Kalonzo this particular pointer that actually they could work together and they could actually reach out to that particular section of the Linda Mwananchi and come up with a single conversation. Remember, at Kakamega, Orengo was the only individual that received the Igwe treatment. If we play the news bite, which we will play shortly, and if you take a look at it from other media houses that covered it while it was still live, the people in Kakamega did not bow in a king respect manner to either Babu or Sifuna. They bolted out, and of course they sang praises and they shouted on top of their lungs when those two politicians were involved. But when James Orengo took it to the stage, he was received with a king reaction. Now, this is also not mistaken, because Orengo is the senior most elder of this particular cohort, and today is his birthday when we are doing this particular episode. So let's go back to what did he say in Kakamega that gave the united opposition a pointer that this section of the ODM could be willing to work with them.
Kakamega oye! Hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? Tumefika ama hatujafika? Na huyu ni nani? Huyu ni nani? Na huyu ni nani? Na huyu ni nani? Na huyu ni nani? Nina machache sana mtusikie leo, kwa sababu kwa ile mikutano tumefanya ya muhimu sana ni hii ya Kakamega. Ile mwongozo itatoka Kakamega, itaenea Kenya nzima, na hii safari yetu tunaanza Kakamega. Tuseme ama tusiseme? Tuseme ama tusiseme? Na Ruto unasemaje? Jambo la kwanza, hii Kenya hii tuna matatizo nyingi, lakini kitu ambao ilitupiga sana ni kuua ile kifo ya Raila Amolo Odinga. Kifo ya Raila Amolo Odinga. Wameua Raila Amolo Odinga. Wameua Raila Amolo Odinga. Semeni ui. 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 Na sasa Kakamega oye. Na sasa wanataka waue chama cha Raila Amolo Odinga. Wanataka kuua chama cha Raila Amolo Odinga. Wangapi wamesema chama ya Raila ODM tulimara waniweke mikono? Na katibu mkuu ya chama cha ODM ni nani? Ni nani? Ni nani? Tumemsikia baba. Na mimi kama Orengo nataka niseme hapa Kakamega, mambo ya chama mimi tamsikia tu Sifuna. Yeye ndiye tunaongea mambo ya chama. Na nasema leo hapa Kakamega, hii vuguvugu ambao nimeona hapa Kakamega itaenda mpaka Pwani, itaenda Turkana, itaenda Mombasa, itaenda Kisumu. Wamemuua Raila. Asante. Wamemuua Raila Amolo Odinga. Wamemuua Raila Amolo Odinga. Wanataka kuua chama cha Raila Amolo Odinga. Na Raila.
Now, before we even go deep into that particular speech that was fiery at some level and at least got a little bit interrupted by the people, there are certain things that Orengo is talking about that is really fit to understand in depth and to have a conversation on. And so primarily the way we always have a conversation on our episodes, go to the comment section and let us know really what you think of what Orengo is saying. But first, let us package the conversation. So first, you're seeing a potency of Orengo and Kalonzo as individuals that can actually steer the country forward. Now, this is not a ticket as it is, because there's a lot of interest in the United Opposition section, there's a lot of interest in the Linda Mwananchi part, and selecting who is who to become now the face of all these movements takes into consideration other individuals that are not just Orengo and Kalonzo in isolation. But one thing is certain is that they are speaking the same voice, whereas Kalonzo is mobilizing support within his team, that is the United Opposition co-principals. Orengo is the voice of reason and advice for the young Turks in the ODM Linda Mwananchi part, and they are meeting at an equilibrium where they share one thing: closeness to Raila Amolo Odinga and long fight in the trenches of this particular country for freedom. Now, out of what Orengo is saying, first is talking about killing Raila Amolo Odinga, saying that they killed Raila Amolo Odinga and right now they are active and working towards killing the party of Raila Amolo Odinga. So who is they? The question is, who is they? And this is why Kalonzo was very key in saying that because Jimmy Orengo highlighted or imputed some doubt, and of course is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, about the death of Raila Amolo Odinga, according to Kalonzo Musyoka, it is very important that an inquest be put, and of course analysis or rather questions about Raila Amolo Odinga be brought out. Now, this just reminds me of a conversation that Sifuna himself talked about when they were talking, when they were attending the burial of Jirongo sometimes back around a few months ago. And Sifuna said, when you're looking for justice from this particular country, it is very hard to find it, because according to Edwin Sifuna, the people that are supposed to give justice are the people whose hands are sometimes tainted in these particular talks. And so I'm just wondering, Who is they? When Orengo is talking about they have killed Raila Amolo Odinga, who is they? Let us know in the comment section if you know. And if this they perhaps have the power, immense power, to take away an enigma like Raila Amolo Odinga, then what kind of inquest would bring out the they, if they themselves have that kind of power? Also let us know in the comment section. But one thing that was interesting also so much in this particular speech of Jimmy Orengo is that while he was making it, they replayed the sound bites of Baba, and you could hear Baba saying that when Sifuna speaks, he speaks for the party. Now these are also conversations, or rather reminders, that are being done amidst these particular rallies to remind the other members of the ODM party what was the will of Raila Amolo Odinga that he made in a period of less than 3 months prior to his death, the way Babu said it rightfully, and it was an oral will when it comes to the political succession of his party. Questions that are valid according to Babu, by the way. Babu was with Jeff yesterday at Jeff KL, not Jeff KL, on the Sunday episode of that particular group, what they do on Sunday. And while Babu was attending that particular interview, among the many things he said, he pointed on something very, very important. He said, if Raila had a will that dictated that within 72 hours post his death, he should be buried, and Ida was not even aware of the contents of this particular will, then this will should be made public so that people understand what did Raila intend when it came to succession of his party, the ODM party. According to Babu Wino, he believes Raila would have not forgotten to write about the succession of the ODM party in his will. So these are conversations that we are going to hear moving ahead of this particular NDC, where everyone wants to, listen to what Baba said last, and there are other individuals that want to go beyond the death of Raila Amolo Odinga to create a new political clandestine, like of course CS for finance. Now at this part of the episode, towards the end really, I just want to play also what Caleb Amisi said, because what Caleb Amisi said somehow feeds into what Orengo said and goes back to what Stephen Kalonzo is saying, and that is what we will play last before we make a wrap up of this particular episode. This is what Caleb Amisi said.
Tuko na kitu inaitwa dhahabu. Sema dhahabu. Sema dhahabu. Na hii dhahabu president ananyemelea. Tumesema muliua viwanda za Mumias. Saa hii dhahabu hatuachili.
The leaders accuse.
Yeah, that was just a small bit of when I was talking, of course, the gold issue, which have since now gone a little bit under as part of the resources of the Kakamega people, that other people have even alleged was the primary cause for elimination of Jirongo, if at all he was eliminated. Now this talks of gold is coming back into the scene, where now you see, according to Caleb Amisi, and without mincing his words, is blaming the man at the hill, saying that he has some interest of the gold of Kakamega, and so he has interest in Kakamega. But political level field as it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Kalonzo team really are looking towards the Osotsi team, and they are hoping that they can have a conversation moving forward. Keep it here, the People's Mirror, where we're bringing for you our next episode, where Eugene Wamalo actively actually calls for the likes of Sifuna and Babu to join the cohort, and we will also be detailing the effect of this over the influence of Rigathi Gachagua and the stature of the united opposition moving forward, if this section of the ODM Linda Mwananchi cohort was to actually join the united opposition. This is the People's Mirror, your number one impartial political podcast in Kenya. Hit the subscribe button if this is your first time, but if you are of course one of our members, then like the video.